Konnichiwa! Good morning! Today is MoTo Monday! Hey Morgan County!
The positive action word of the week.
The positive action word of the week is kindness, and in Spanish it is
amabilidad.
show some kindness this week and look for it in your community.
You know there's a light that glows by the front door. Don't forget the keys under the mat. When childhood stars shine, always stay humble and kind. Don't expect a free ride from no one. Don't hold a grudge or a chip, and here's why. Bitterness keeps you from flying. Always stay humble and kind. Hold the door, say please, say thank you. Don't steal, don't cheat, and don't lie. I know you got mountains to climb, but always stay humble and kind. When the dreams you're dreaming come to you, when the work you put in is realized, let yourself feel the pride, but always stay humble and kind. Yeah.
Hi Morgan County Scholars. Today I have a story I wrote especially for you to demonstrate our positive action word of the week, kindness. The story is called The Butterfly Effect. Matthew's bad day began before he even got out of bed. He forgot to set his alarm and woke up to his mom knocking on his door asking if he was awake. He rushed to get dressed, ran down to the kitchen for breakfast, and discovered that his little brother had eaten the last Pop-Tart. He angrily grabbed the cereal from the pantry and poured a bowl. Then he went to the refrigerator, yanked out the milk a little too aggressively, and ended up spilling it all over the front of his pants. As he ran upstairs to change, he heard the bus pull up to his stop. His mom had to drive him to school, which made her late for work, so she was grumpy with him. When he got to school, he realized he left his math homework on his desk at home. To make matters worse, his best friend was absent from school today of all days. They were supposed to be partners for the science project the class was doing that day. The teacher brought in 15 watermelons, and hundreds of rubber bands. Each team of 2 students had to make a prediction about how many rubber bands it would take to crush their watermelon. He and Jeremy had carefully calculated their guess, and now Matthew was stuck doing the experiment with the new girl. This day just can't get any worse, he thought to himself. Oh, but it did. 2 boys in the class were laughing at him because he had to work with the new girl. When the teacher wasn't looking, they were shooting rubber bands at him. Matthew tried to follow his parents' advice and ignore them, but then one smacked him right in the cheek, and it hurt. That was the last straw. Matthew walked right over to those boys, cheeks flushed with anger and one cheek red and puffy from the rubber band. He grabbed the rubber bands out of their hands with such force that he knocked over their watermelon. It came crashing down to the hard floor and broke in half. Watermelon juice seeped out, spreading on the new girl's white backpack, making her cry. Everyone was staring as the teacher brought the trash can over and instructed Matthew to clean up the mess. He could hear the snickering of his classmates and the sniffling of the new girl as she tried not to cry while she was wiping off her backpack. It was at that very moment that Matthew made a very important decision. He went to the new girl, asked her if he could see her backpack, and then went into his own backpack and got out the Tide pin his mother insisted he bring to school. The tiny little pin worked as well as the advertising promised, and in no time her backpack was restored to its original shade of white. The new girl smiled at Matthew. Her eyes shined with gratitude as she thanked him and asked him to sit by her at lunch. He accepted the invitation, and from that moment on, Matthew had found in her a true friend, and discovered she had been having an even worse day than Matthew. This was the 4th school she had been to. Every time she thought she was safe to make friends in her other schools, it was time to move again. So she had decided this time she wasn't even going to try. That's why no one even knew her name. She wanted to be invisible. What appeared to her classmates as arrogance was simply her being guarded. If she didn't have friends, she couldn't lose them. Matthew listened to her story. As she talked, he noticed her eyes were blue and that he loved her smile. She had a way about her that put him at ease, and he decided that he would spill all the milk in the refrigerator, miss every bus that came, and drop all the watermelons in the world as long as it led him to her. It was when he decided to break the cycle of negativity and chose to perform an act of kindness that Matthew discovered one of the greatest treasures, a true friend. Okay, Morgan County scholars, we have some discussion questions. What are the negative circumstances that led Matthew to become frustrated? Which ones were within his control and which ones were not? What do you think the turning point of the story was? The book is called A Butterfly Effect. A butterfly effect is one small action that can have a profound impact on the world, like the stone that hits the water once and causes hundreds of ripples. Matthew's day started badly. Some things were within his control to change and some were not, but his attitude was always within his control, just like ours is always within our control. Choose to be the ripple of kindness. We may never know how one kind action can positively impact someone else, but we can never go wrong being kind. And remember, we can choose to change our attitude at any time. Would it have been an easier day for Matthew if he had changed his attitude and made better choices earlier? Probably. But it's never too late to choose kindness. Stay curious, Morgan County scholars.
Catch a wave and you're sitting on top of the world. And woohoo! It's summertime! Hey, Morgan County! Mrs. Hot here, and I am hard at work on some positive actions for a super fun summer. It's time for Morgan County Partnership's Summer Fun with Positive Actions. Today's Monday, and we're working hard on staying positive through the summer 2020, aren't we? With our positive thoughts, actions, and feelings. Hey community, the Morgan County Partnership has some great things ready for you this summer. On Mondays, you get to do summer STEAM with a great science activity and a great motivational video for you. Tuesdays, we've got story time, and Wednesdays, it's yoga for kids with Lacey. Thursday's mom time with Miss Nikki, and Friday, Miss Shama comes over on the airwaves for the Positive Podcast. It's going to be an awesome summer 2020, so grab your sunscreen, and remember, boys and girls, stay healthy and well. Why? Because you are unique, you're important, and you're wonderfully made. Stay safe, everybody. Gotta go catch that wave. Catch a wave and you're sitting on. Whoops, whoops.